Hey everybody, it's Marty the JavaScript party, and I left Rhett. I took Rhett back out to the living room because she was pretty spicy in the last video, and she does get right now. We are at a phase in our household where we adopted a husky, and he is just an absolute character, and she gets a lot of stimulation. Um, so it's not as like necessary right now to make sure that she gets stimulation because she's getting plenty. And we already did two videos, so this third one wasn't as necessary. But sounds like one of my dogs is there's like a I have like a deck in my front yard that me and my son put up, and their feral cats love to hang out there. At any given time, there's usually 3 to 6 feral cats, and every about once every 2 years, we'll look out there and there'll be like 40 feral cats just chillaxing. They're all looking like wood, and you just I don't know what happens. Like a signal goes out, and they all decide they need to have like a convention. I mean, it's so weird, but it only happens every couple of years. Um, we probably in my neighborhood is probably about I would say probably about 200 acres, and over the 200 acres, there's probably about 100 feral cats scattered throughout. Um, so sometimes a feral cat will have a very unique color skin and scheme or something, and we won't see it for years. I mean, it might be 3 years, and then suddenly you see it back again. So it's fun. It would be interesting to put like one of those wilderness cams out there and see what's going on. But I have learned a new concept. It's called cognitive anchoring, and basically, it's just so wild because the way discrete works is almost, in many ways, exactly like the way from a data perspective, almost identical to the way continuous works, but it's slightly different, and it's just enough to just put you into a very weird tailspin confusion sort of situation. And also the other thing is that with discrete with different languages you have like different edge cases, and and then with continuous you have completely different edge cases, based on different words and stuff. So you know, and I think that those sorts of things would make it like darn near impossible to deal with, um, like in a professional setting, right? Like you're trying to build stuff and all that, and then you're trying to explain these edge cases, and like I can only imagine if you had two teams, one that was like focused on continuous and one that was focused on discrete, the endless arguments they would likely have. Because the thing is you're just not going to have a tool like this. You're not going to have any way to actually sit down and look at the data, and just trying to get the data in a way that is at all reasonable has just taken a lot of time. And it took more time because of this cognitive anchoring. I had a bunch of ideas of the way things work that I learned during discrete. And when I built out discrete in as simple as way as I could. And then it didn't have enough moving parts. It just doesn't quite have the architectural structure to handle continuous. So those sort of architectural gaps were really difficult to understand. And so we're starting to get just a little bit of clarity. Um, so basically, right now, what you can do is you can come in here, you can say some words, and you can get sort of an idea of what's going on. Um, let's see. Uh, so allow this time. This shout is about thought and bot. So, so like it says, I believe what it's telling me here is that, yeah, what we're seeing here is that we have four records. The very first word was this shout, which we um, would agree with this. Um, and then for some reason, it did kind of come up with three possibilities. And it didn't put them in order of confidence, it put them in some other order. But it felt like it was 97% sure that I had this shot. Now, see, I could see somebody thinking, oh, okay, it's going to give me a confidence level and it's going to give me, like, let's say 65% that it was this shout, and then 25%, and the confidence would add up to 100. I think that would be a very reasonable thing to to expect. Um, this, like, 90, like, and see, I could see, like, the non-developers, right? Like, so, and like in any software system setup, like, a lot of times the president of the company or the people in the leadership will think that, like, everybody from director and below is like, okay, so they'll know that everybody from director and below are technical. These are all technical people. But for a lot of them at the top, they think that technical and programmer are synonyms, that they're the same. Or they'll think that, like, 9 out of 10 of the people, or 4 out of 5 of the people that are, let's say they have 100 technical people working for them, they'll think that, like, 80 of them are programmers, and that, like, 20 of them are, like, just very technical but don't actually program. But honestly, that is the opposite. So normally, like, if you have 100 people that are participating, maybe um, maybe 10 of them are programmers. So only 10 of them would ever see this sort of thing, would ever understand that, no, the way confidence works here is that, 97, you could get a 97, a 90, it says 97% chance that it's this shout, and then it says that there's a 93% chance that it was this shot, which doesn't, in it could be argued that doesn't make sense. That, like, it should give me a total confidence of these three, which one it thinks it is, and then this out, and then, like, you could also be forgiven for thinking it's going to give you an order of confidence, but clearly it doesn't. So and that's the kind of thing that, like, you don't really necessarily tell, you don't report back up the line, so they could go on for years thinking that the confidence sums up to 100. um, so I think that is one of the harder things. But then for some reason it was 97.2, a little bit higher than this is about, but it didn't have any other. And then thought, it was like, that's thought, and then bought. Um, and then it is, so and then with bought, it, was just, and bought. Um, it was just all over the place. Trying to figure out what that is, and I think there's, like, it looks like it's got some sort of context and stuff. But the thing is you probably wouldn't want to try to code to these edge cases, because there's a very good chance that it acts very, very differently in other operating systems. And so the other operating systems would be, like, in Apple, in Android. This is Windows, and then this is a version of Windows, and it may work very differently in other languages. Um, so, and those sorts of things are really, really hard for everyone to sort of wrap their mind around, is that, these things do not work consistently. And that is, I think, becoming more and more of the reality of our situation. So, um, I'm just absolutely amazed at how confused I I stay at this point. But so it looks like what we have is a table, an outer table, and then we've got, so we have this table, started, signal count, and end. Okay, so that's on the left here. And then on the right, we have this. So it kind of seems like maybe this. So I did make them into like side by side, but maybe it makes sense to not like to have to. So let's make it. And it's like I'm a bit flustered at this moment. Like I just don't quite have a clear grasp of the direction to go on this. So see, the ones that's really confuse it is like shot and thought, because the THs really seem to be messing it up. And this, I do not remember that being any kind of weirdness in discrete. Um, this, and maybe cis, sheet, say this, sheet, that, chat, thought, shot, so you see like different ones of these, like short shot, shocked, shut, shot. I have no idea why I thought I said shot 3 times in a row. So these are like edge cases, and it definitely is difficult to make any sense of what's going on here. I do think this layout is a little bit better. I feel like all of these should just be in a single row. So let's try that. Let's see. This, his, thought, shot. It's so crazy how shot really screws it up. I mean, it's just got tons of different possible results, and it's so weird that I just can't even like conceive why are we getting 3 of these. I do think this looks a little bit better. Probably should bold the what did I just do? Okay, apparently Control B does not do what it used to do anymore. Do that, and then I like how I did that. So let's just go ahead and copy the whole data cell. And so I'm thinking, okay, so originally what I was thinking would be a great, oh shoot, signal count and ended. Like a application for this would be like a calculator, like 1 plus 5 plus 3. Um, but I thought I'd come up with like a even more fun sort of thing for this to do, but I can't remember what it was now. So I do think that looks a little bit better. Won't count 1 plus 1 equals 2. See, that's actually pretty nice, right? I mean, that is actually pretty nice. Um, that seems like that would be a good little calculator, right? 1 times 1, 5 times 5. Just if it recognizes the certain grammars, um, it would be able to do things. And it's like, see, that this makes sense to me. Like, it's like, oh, I think there's 71% chance that you're saying the word one, but I do think it's an 85% chance that you're saying the number one. Like, to me, it does make sense that um, like 1 and 1 would be this. I don't understand this one, and I guess it doesn't make sense. This side, I don't think actually. This first row, I don't think is doing us any good. Now that we've sort of dug into this, so let's go ahead and get rid of that first row. Does that affect anything? Yeah, it does. And okay, so what we need to do next? Okay, whew, I'm finally, like, I was really shook. So I think what we need to do, the next task that we need to do is the settings. I feel like we are actually like kind of functionally done. I feel like all of our data is there. Um, but let's see. 1 plus 5. I wonder if that's Roman numeral 5. Um, so it was wild how it wouldn't do anything till I added the second thing. That's gonna make a calculator a lot harder to build. 1, 1. See, my worry is that, like, yeah. And so then the other thing is like, how do you figure out, like, 1 plus 1 plus 5? And okay, so that's the one. Okay, so that's another thing that maybe I'm not capturing here, is that 1 plus 1 plus 5 plus 3 plus 2. See, for a little while there, we had 2 records, then we had 3 records. Um, so it's sort of like merging things, and then, like, we'd also want to merge things. So some things we'd get back, we would get, like, as that. But the one thing that I'm not capturing visually is, like, the history. So I think, um, I don't know what that. See, we did get 33 messages, right? Signals. 1 plus 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 8 equals. Yeah, see, I feel like this little experience right here, that's going to really screw things up. Right? Because we got the 5 and the plus, and then the plus and the plus. But I never even said plus. Like, I don't know where it got the next plus from. Um, 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. One plus one equals. yeah, I don't know if I'm just like in a weird negative mood. I guess the thing you care about is the top. Like that's, I think if all you focused on was the top and you ignored the other results, it looks like you'd be okay. But man, this thing's gonna be tough to code to. And the way the data's coming out now is weird. But I think what we have is like 24 other sort of sets of data like this. So this is like a data set. This is 4 rows. These are all the transcripts of each result. But I think there was another set of roles, and I think that there was some other data as well, like whether it's ended or not. So I do think that um, we need to. Where are we at on 21 minutes? Absolutely. So I don't know, like if you haven't been watching this, if you have been watching this, then it's like Discrete went so differently than this. Um, and what I'm really trying to figure out right now is, did it go different because that was the first one I dealt with, and now my brain is like in a weird vulnerable state because now I'm working on continuous and discrete has me in a certain mindset. And then like what would happen? Like what if you had like 5 people? Let's say you hired 10 programmers, and 5 of them you said, okay, I want you guys to focus on continuous, and then they started building out things and really starting to to understand continuous, and then you put top 5 of them discrete, and then they learned everything discrete, and then you try to combine the teams with like these people just like never be able to see eye to eye because they just have such a different view of the way things work. It's weird. This one has really gotten me strange, in a strange spot. But anyway, so each signal has information, and we get these things, and I set the result every time, and then I have a current request, and that's the result that I just set right here. And I probably did that so that it would be easy for me to know that this is a continuous result. So, and then we just get rid of we just let the other ones go away. So I'm curious what we have in that result. It's been a while. Result, comma, result. And we may have a bunch of garbage in the console log already. If we do, we're probably gonna have to go through and clean that up. Um, this and that and this. Yeah, so all of these are our results. We have something over here on speech service line 174. 74, so we're going to get rid of this. We'll probably end up, I wouldn't surprise me if we end up over here again. And I did say in the end of the last video, which I just watched a few minutes ago, I'm probably going to spend the next 2 to 5 videos just cleaning up code, but I just don't think I understand this code well enough. I don't understand this domain well enough at this point. One plus 1, 5. I wonder, that is so weird how it won't. I want to try that. Like, just try another number other than 1. 5. Thought. So for some reason, if you say a number first, you get nothing back. And I don't know if that's a code. Maybe that's something in my code. I doubt it. But that's weird, right? Like that shouldn't work that way. Hello, world. See, that's weird, right? Because hello comes right back in. But one, one. Yeah, to me, that is going to be one of the most impossible things to make this to code to, because the problem is like everyone's going to do that. They're going to say the number and then they're going to say it again, and then they're going to be like, what the hell, like it didn't respond the first time and I only wanted to say one but I said one twice. I'm curious. 100. 100. Yeah, so 100 works. Oh, because it's two words. 10. 10 works. 1. Oh, now it's working. It was not working before. 1. 1. 2. Yeah. So these sorts of inconsistency will make this extremely difficult to actually build anything for it. Now there are a lot of words and stuff that like for my, well, that's not true because discrete you can say a series of words, right? Hello world, how are you? Yeah, see, you can say you just only get one set, and that just works, seems to work so much cleaner than hello world, how are you? Well, that worked really well. I think it's highly dependent on context. I think there's a lot more context uh, involved. But anyways, we wanted to look at this and see. That's interesting. The confidence is undefined at this point. Oh, looks like maybe it's broken. Maybe that is a breakage. Are they all undefined? Yeah. And I think I'm not even using this transcript up here. But yeah, this confidence is undefined. So that would be a good thing to fix. I mean, just like kind of something to sort of, no. So I think it's this one. Oh, and yeah, now I see why. Like this code is just very confusing. Um, so is it this right here that is messed up? Line 175. Can I get to the speech service? If let's see, arg. Oh yeah, it's like you can't put a console log after return, bro. If this is the right one, then it will be it will be undefined there. One. Okay, so that is right. So this one's right. That one's wrong. Um, and whatever it is, it gets a transcript, it gets a confidence, it gets a count. So whatever it is higher up than that. Well, probably before that. Okay, so all of this is causing confidence, is noise, is confusion. So let's get rid of that. Let's go ahead and get rid of this. Well, let's just comment this out. And we're basically looking for confidence that's messed up. And this is where it would be really kind of nice to have this code in a different file, because, you know, we're going to slip into, it's probably this guy right here. Let's go look at that, inspect, console. That is right here. I'm thinking this one is messed up. Test. Undefined. Transcript is test result. Okay, so I think result 0 confidence. Okay, so we fixed a bug. Wait, what was I looking at? It was like result transcript confidence, not confidence. Line 160. Oh, that's for discrete, I think. Line 160. Okay. Have I lost my mind? 160. Oh, so supposedly this is on line 161, and a result for each is supposed to be on 157. Control F for each. Up. Is this it? Speech service. Oh, it's because I got rid of all those comments. So results array for each. Results array for each. There we go. There's our issue. That's what I should have searched on, was this string right here. All right, so this gives us the individual top value, which I don't even think I use. And it was recording that whole time. So that's an interesting. So even though it's debugged and stopped in the debugger, it's still recording stuff. So code is still happening. And that's because it's handing it off over to the operating system. So the operating system is not paused. Hello, world. Okay, why do I have this? Do I even use this right here? Okay, so let's go ahead. This is causing confusion, so let's go ahead and get rid of this. Well, I guess we can have this. And just the fact that it's a let communicates information, and I think it communicates bad information. I think what it's communicating is that this thing gets overwritten in here, and I don't think it does. But if it doesn't, well, I want to know. So our current result list is an array from the result, and we map these things. So we really do care. Like there might be other information in the result that we care about. So, and I think this is what I was thinking at the end of the last episode when I was like, okay, I'm going to be cleaning up this code. This is what I figured I'd be doing. And then when I started, I was like out of sync because it's been a whole week since I've done that. But to be or not to be? That is the question. So for some reason, it thought I might have just said to or to be or not to be. That is the question. And so the thing to think about, though, to keep in mind is this is 21. Well, this is one of probably 21 results, and we're only seeing one of them. So, and I don't know if the other ones matter that they're there, but we probably should be aware of them, and we probably should be able to look at them and see what it was saying back then. Because when we code it, we're going to be coding it as the information. We're going to be dealing with it as the information comes in. So, I'd say like I think sometimes it's not unusual for it to be like 4 records and then go back to 3 records, or like the number of records changing. So that kind of stuff, those sort of little tidbits are just insanely important. Um, I have to admit, if I was working in a professional place, it would not surprise me if they um, like if they didn't if like they didn't say, okay, screw it, we're not doing anything with continuous, we're going to focus on discrete. That would not surprise me at all. And I don't think it would be a bad idea. Okay, so I don't think it doesn't look like I use this result arrays. Yeah, so I can just delete that. We have an awful lot of, okay, so these are the discrete result transcripts. So it would be we kind of have a shit show here, because it looks like we handle discretes and that, and it's like we handle, so this is this, I think this is for discrete. Yeah, we got all this stuff all mixed up with each other, and it's over like almost 100 lines of code. So let's start breaking things out into like functions and hope that we can make this a little bit more reasonable. So first transcript, first confidence, total count. Like we can't tell. It's hard to tell if which one is for which one. Basically what we have here is a shit show. And if we, like, I have definitely seen way more screwed up code go into production than this. But we don't want to. We really don't want to do that. So this is our continuous. This is specific for continuous. And this is for discrete. And what we're doing is, in discrete, literally all we're doing is taking this discrete transcript, which I believe we freaking declare all the way up here. So do we even need this to be declared up there? Because if we don't need that to be declared up there. Okay, so that helps a lot. And then it gets this discrete language, first transcript, first confidence, total count, max alternatives. So this is a state, so we don't need to really worry about that. And then the first transcript comes in first confidence, total count, and all transcripts gets passed in. I mean, gets used specifically for this, and then it calls this, which is a state. So, so what I'm thinking is, I would love for all of this just to go into its own function. And I'm thinking I will have to pass in first transcript, first confidence, and total count, and all transcripts. So I have to pass in 4 things. So I think it makes a lot of sense to, like, say, I think process discrete or publish discrete probably makes a lot of sense. Um, so let's just make sure we haven't broken discrete at this point. This is when it's so easy to break things. Hello, world. All right. So what I would like to do is create a function. I don't know if this is the right name at this time, but process. And I've gotten into, because of unit testing, I've gotten sort of into the habit of always returning something. And then I'm just going to say return true. This makes unit testing a lot easier. And now this is what we need. So we need our first transcript, first confidence, total count. So if we just take this, like, just a pro tip, if you just take this, copy it, and paste it down here, it'll show you what you need to pass in. Notice that, like, ret will normally get very quiet once I get into this mode. Okay, so we want our first transcript, which I'm guessing is a string, right? And I'm really hoping that I don't need first transcript and first confidence for continuous. Oh, string. And that's getting a little long. And I, you know, I've only worked at one place that does this, but I liked it. I liked it a lot. And I've never worked at a place that I do this at and then they don't like most of the developers don't like it. Now, I have worked in places where, like, you had individuals that really wanted everybody to code the exact same way. So they were like, why are you doing this? And then basically literally every PR, they would tell me to change it. And then the next PR, I would put it back in again. I would do that in the next PR, and then they would tell me to change it. And then they would go on vacation, and then, like, 3 things got checked in, would get checked in while they were on vacation. When they got back, they're losing their minds. And I really wasn't being, like, trying to be difficult. It's just like, trying to, you know, sometimes trying to move places forward is just really. I think this will tell me what it's supposed to be. Just copy that right there. I mean, we could have gone into the TypeScript and checked, but that's basically all this thing did was, right, it went into the TypeScript, checked it, and then let me know what it was supposed to be. So it's like shortcut. All right, so now we want to process the discrete, and I think we can just copy this. just comment all of this out. And then we can just say, and I don't know, like I said, I don't know if process discrete is the correct word for this. Oops, Control Z, too far. I should put a this in front of that. This dot. Oh my gosh. I have worked at places though where like I'm really confused about this. And it's not the fact that like I'm confused that is blowing me. Well, the fact that I'm confused is really blowing me away, but it's not being confused that's blowing away. It's the fact that this ain't that hard. It really isn't. But for some reason, I've got my head is in a weird spot. And I have definitely experienced this in a professional environment where like you're just like, this isn't that hard, and no one can understand why you're so confused, and it's because you got like one thing that really screwed me up was like a lot of people would push all their subscriptions that need to be deleted on destroy into like a array that was on like some kind of service or something, and so there you had all these weird layers of abstraction. That is not that complicated, but I remember like a junior developer being so confused at me being just completely confused by that. But it was because I had always seen things get destroyed a certain way, and that just really blew me away. Okay, so hopefully this works, and then we can get rid of that, and then we know that nothing we do, well, that's not true. Because all transcripts, like, then I guess what we can do is start bringing like start figuring out if like total count is only for discrete. And we probably should name this discrete total count. Actually, that'll probably be the next thing I do. If there's a total count, yeah. Hello world. Okay, so we didn't break anything. And that is another interesting thing is like on the other one I have to shut it down. But with this one I say hello world and then I just wait. But with continuous, and I guess it makes sense to make sure we didn't break anything over there. Hello world. I need to shut it down. Ha. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Anyways, yeah, that's fun. That's really fun. Okay, so discrete is working now. So now we can just get rid of this code here. And then I would, okay, so they both use first transcript. But see, this does stuff in here. So I want to call this discrete first transcript. And I want to see, yeah, see, they all use these two. But I would like to separate them. So yeah, and this gets, and if I can pull this code out of here, which I think I'll be able to, I would love to do that. You know, just put it in the else. Now, I think, okay, that's weird that first transcript doesn't even get used anymore. I thought it was being used down here. Oh, we have a new first transcript. Interesting. So let's just get rid of that altogether. And then see if I can pull this into the else. Yes, and I think that makes the code a lot less confusing. And then if I can move this into down there. I just never thought, because I knew we were using first confidence, but we were declaring it down there. So okay, let's go ahead and put these on different lines. So it's possible that everything we were doing up there was for discrete. All right, so now let's come over here. I think total count is the next one. Yeah, total count. So it only broke down here. No, it broke here too. Okay, Control Z. And then just do that. Come down here. Tab this out. Let's go ahead and add a space there. Add a space there. And change this to discrete. Total count. All right, so that should be a lot easier to sort of make sense of. And is there anything else? I think there's these all transcripts. All right, and I think that is where there's a lot of confusion. All transcripts are our discrete transcripts. Okay, so we have our continuous. Okay, so, and then all transcripts gets pushed. We go through the results array and we put that in there. So does all transcripts, like if I delete this, does it just break in? So it breaks right there. But it kind of looks like it's only used in discrete. And this alone, this seems like it by itself should probably go into its own function. Okay, what's broken up here? So it looks like this is only used here. And I do think like things are a lot less confusing, at least for me at this point, than they were at the beginning of this session. All right, so let's just make sure we didn't break anything again. This is when you're just so likely to break things, and the fewer Control Z's you have to get back to things working again, the better. Hello world, how are you? That's nice. There's 5 of them. And basically they're all variances on spelling. And that third one is weird as all get out. That is so funny. How are you? That's hilarious. All right, now let's try this one. Hello world, how are you? See, I find that so odd that we don't have like all the weird spellings and stuff that we did in discrete. And I think it would make for some very weird user experiences. But on the good side, this is still working. Yeah, I don't know. Is it worth it to pull this? I think we're done. I think discrete is tied off. So would it make sense to pull all of this into another function? because it is kind of long. What would I have to do to pull this into its own function? Looks like the results array, I would need to pass that in. And the result. And then I think I would be good. So I guess we should do that. So that was process discrete. Let's name that record. Event. Oh, I mean, what's it doing? No, oh, no, I'm going to call this publish discrete. Might not be a great name, but I want to name the other one the new one process. And the main job of that one is to publish it, right? Like it just takes this information and publishes it. It kind of formats and publish. So, I mean, format and publish might make sense, but anyways, now I want to create another one called process discrete. And that returns a Boolean. And then we do this, and then we say return true. And then I guess we just want to copy all of this. And I don't know what this update log, oh, that's for this up here. And I do think the logs probably need to be, there needs to be some addressing of that too. So then I take this over here, and the main goal here is just to set up the arguments. That's what I'm trying to do right now. And basically I need a result. And a result array. And our result is an any. I think I went round and around trying to strongly type this, but the problem is since it's a like an experimental API, the typings don't exist yet, and like I could make up my own, but I don't think it's worth it. And then let's see. See, that's an any, and then result array. Oh, it looks like the result array itself is an any. It's not even like, yeah, neither of them are even like arrays. I wonder if they're identical. That'd be funny if they're the exact same thing. And they'll never, ever, 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 ever be an easier time to figure that out than now. But I do want to test to make sure I haven't broken anything. Oh, wait. I'm not even calling it, am I? This.process discrete result and result array. Hello world, how are you? Looking good. Looking good. I think it works so nice, this whole thing. See, like, why didn't it do looking and GGG and good GGGOD? You know, like, why does hello get all these? But yeah, it's weird. Anyways, so the new thing works. and we wanted to just double check the result and a result. I think, well, okay, let's look up here and where result array is array from. Oh, okay, so no, they aren't the same because the array is part of result. So does this other guy use result array? Does continuous use result array? It does not look like continuous uses result array. So if I can move that out, move it to here, and then if I can move this down to there and get rid of it here, I feel like that demystifies that. There's some demystification that comes from not, like having this separated into two different ways when one of them's just part of the other one. It's just like, mysterious. And it's like a mysteriousness that I don't want or need. So I would say that we do understand discrete a little better than we did before, but that really wasn't the mission, and discrete was fine. I was like, why are you messing with discrete? Discrete's fine. But it was sort of muddying the waters a little bit for continuous. Hi there. So we got two variations of that, and it didn't know if I was saying hi there, like over there, or hi there. And I don't actually even know which one's the correct. I think this is the correct. And you're saying hi there, how you doing? Yeah, I'm saying hi and there to you, not hi there stuff. Um, so anyways, let's see. I would definitely say like coding on your own time, like for fun, is like, to me it's unwinding. It like takes the stress in your life and just slowly backs it off, and so then you're not as uptight. Um, you know, but coding at work is clearly winding. Like I'm at the end of the day, I'm a little bit more wound up than I started the day. Um, so it's the same activity, but it has a different result depending on the context in which you're doing it in. But yeah, like the way it's funny because I constantly, like literally every 3 weeks, I'll get a reach out from a recruiter. Like I get reached out for this language that I used to work with in 1997 called Uniface. Like I get reached out for that like every 3 weeks. I probably get a reach out for Angular, JavaScript, and web for like every month. Well, I guess that's not true. I probably get a reach out every like 2 or 3 days for them, but like they're not real. Like they're just complete fake stuff. But so I probably get a lot more like legitimate job reach outs from this language that I used to work with like literally 30 years ago, um, that I haven't done anything with since. Um, but like the way you coded in Uniface was probably like, I don't know if you've ever worked with Visual Basic, but it's a lot like Visual Basic. Or like if you're doing like using the Access has like a coding, like where you can drag boxes around and stuff like that, or like Lego Mindstorm coding. It's more like that than it is like anything of this stuff. And so that sort of coding is really, has really gone away. There's way less of it going on. And it's just like the kind of coding and even the kind of application that you're going to build with ChatGPT. See, to me, that's the really disruptive thing. Is like let's say you're trying to keep inventory for a car parts place, right? Right now we have like all these boxes and stuff you fill out and all that, and it's just like, does that even make sense? Like, would it make more sense just to have like an artificial intelligence that you just say, oh, we got three new boxes, and oh, what are they? It's a starter, an alternator, and a battery. Okay, what kind of battery? And and it just works back and forth with you, and then generates a CSV or an Excel spreadsheet that then you feed into some other application that does whatever. And that's like the thing is like it's gonna pick up. I think it's gonna pick up a lot of parts of the tasks, if that makes sense. Like it's not gonna eliminate software development like the way I do software development and stuff, but there's gonna be big pieces of it that it's going to just pick up and do parts of it, but then it's going to give you results, and then you're going to have to take those results and then feed them to some other system that is maybe more like what I would build, right? Um, because you will need stuff exactly right, but then the thing is like the AI is going to be like, it's going to get confused and stuff, and if so then that's going to be your problem as the user, is you're going to have to explain to it what you want. You have to be like, no, I want the the first column. I want you to know that's a battery, not a roebuck, or whatever, a craftsman, or like I think that make you'll have to make corrections to it. But anyways, so that's working, and process discrete is separate, and then I don't think there's anything. Is there anything in here? I don't think there's anything up here that the discrete needs. So I think I could take all of this and move it down here. And then it probably makes sense to pull this into its own function. Um, and then we can work on continuous exclude. So tomorrow I can start pulling this into its own function, and once this is all in its own, like in its own process continuous function, then there's no going back and forth and checking to see if discrete's broken. Did we break discrete? Doesn't we couldn't have, because we're only working with continuous stuff. um, yeah, we're over an hour, so it definitely makes sense to sort of finish that up tomorrow, pull this stuff into there, and then um, to me, like the big question is like when let's say, just make sure nothing's broken from that. Let's see, what's a good song? Relax, don't do it when you want to get to it. Um, so we have our two records. Kind of looks like, well, the thing is so it recognized anything, so we didn't get multiple, so it looks weird. It would be so interesting to see what the other 24 look like. And it was funny because um, I did waste a stop for a good time between relax and don't do it, but it did comment. It made those into one. Um, but I think there's like another sort of ended, like this thing. I think, um, but I think well, this is. I think there's like an ended kind of concept of these things too, like when it's done, which I think we're missing. Um, yeah. So, anyways, tomorrow I'll create like a process continuous function and probably, I think it makes sense probably even to do the same pattern and say publish continuous. Um, and then that's where you'll get like, oh, I could just imagine that like you're in a production environment and they're like, well, if we're gonna have a publish continuous and a process continuous, a publish discrete, is there any way we can combine those into one? Like abstract just the publish process, and it's just like, yeah, there is, but like it would make things. It's sort of like, yeah, we would end up like how we kind of split it all out, mixing it back together again, um, because they do two different signals, and they do two different. They publish two different actual payloads, and they use two different signals for publishing. So, anyways, I think it does make sense though to shut it down now and basically do the exact same thing for publish or for continuous that we did, and then see if there's any more useful information, and sort of see about like making another table or something that gives you access to the other 23 counts payloads that we got. I think this is just the last payload, um, but I do think the other ones are interesting. Let's see, what did we get over here? See, I don't think we're so with the green ones. See, oh, so the green one is a little bit more useful. It doesn't have all the information, but see, that's what I was curious about. So we got 3, 4, 5, 6. We had 6 that were just the word relax, and then with a result count of 1. Now we have relax, don't. And then we relax, don't do. It's because I waited between relax and don't. And then don't do it. I think, yeah, don't do it. Relax, don't do it. Let's see. Is this the... And see, like, this is going to be, like, it is possible that whenever they do get real um, and this is all the pause that was in between it. So it's still popping the same thing over and over and over again. So it almost seems like once you get if you get 2 matching ones, it's time. But unfortunately, yeah, the way this is, it doesn't ever show you the other, um, the second record, which we'll definitely need to get that. And that's probably the only thing we'll need, really, is to update this green one to give you all the transcripts and confidences. But anyways, that's it. Happy coding, everybody. Have a wonderful Saturday. See you all tomorrow. Bye.